Welcome to Mind Over Markets, a place where traders come not to learn how to predict the next candle, but to understand the one thing that shapes every trade. They take the mind behind the chart. Most traders spend their lives searching for the perfect strategy, the perfect indicator, the perfect system. But the truth is simple. You don't rise or fall because of the market. You rise or fall because of your psychology. Here we go deeper than charts, deeper than setups, deeper than the noise. We explore the inner world of trading where discipline is built, where confidence is born, and where every long-term trader begins their real transformation. If you're ready to understand the human side of this game, the side no one talks about, the side that determines whether you survive or disappear, then take a breath, settle your mind, and let's begin. There is a moment in every trader's life when the chart fades away, when the indicators, the candles, the signals no longer matter. A moment when the real enemy reveals itself, and that enemy is you. We spend years studying strategies, we test systems, we analyze market structures, but very few traders spend even a single day understanding the force that destroys more portfolios than any bad setup ever could. It's not volatility, it's not liquidity, it's not the economy, it's not the news, it's the inability to stop, the inability to respect the one boundary designed to save you, the one rule separating you from ruin, the line written not on your chart but in your mind, your daily max loss. Some traders see it as a limitation, others see it as an annoyance. Many ignore it, break it, or pretend it doesn't matter. But the very few who choose to honor it, become something rare in this world. They become traders who survive long enough to win. Today, you and I are going to talk about the boundary you've been crossing for far too long, the one that keeps punishing you even though you think you're punishing the market. Today, we talk about your daily max loss and why, until you learn to respect it, you will keep losing battles you never needed to fight. Daily max loss is not a trading rule. It is a psychological mirror. It reveals the truth of your self-control. It exposes how you react under stress. It shows you whether you can be trusted with your own money. Most people misunderstand what max loss is. They think it's a financial ceiling, a constraint, a guardrail placed by brokers or risk managers or strategy designers. But the truth is more intimate than that. Max loss is not about money, it's about identity. When you set a daily max loss, you are saying, this is the line I will not cross. This is where I stop. This is where I protect myself from me. But when you break that limit, you are saying something else entirely. My emotions rule me. My impulses control me. I am willing to destroy myself, to avoid facing discomfort. And somewhere deep inside, a part of you knows this. You feel it every time you break your limit. The guilt, the shame, the internal collapse, the sense that something inside you has been damaged. Not because you lost money, but because you lost trust in yourself. Have you ever wondered why traders break their max loss? It's rarely because of logic. It's rarely because of strategy. It is almost always because of emotion. Let me tell you why. A trader breaks their max loss for one of four reasons, and every trader at some point in their life has faced all four. The first is ego, the belief that you are too smart, too skilled, too experienced to end the day in red, the belief that you can force the market to give back what it took, the belief that losing is unacceptable because it says something about you. But here's the truth. A losing day doesn't define you. Breaking your discipline does. Ego convinces you that one more trade will fix everything. But one more trade has never saved a trader. It has only dug the grave deeper. The second reason is loss aversion, the natural human instinct to avoid emotional pain at any cost. Losing money hurts, but admitting the loss hurts more. So you trade again and again and again. Not because you have an edge, but because your mind is screaming to escape discomfort. But trading to escape pain creates more pain. The third reason is revenge, not against the market, but against the feeling of being wrong. You're not fighting price action. You're fighting humiliation. You're fighting the story that says you made a mistake, so you keep swinging harder and harder until you're no longer trading the chart, but trading your anger. And anger is a terrible strategist. The fourth reason is addiction, not to trading itself, Tiba, but to the dopamine, to the rush, to the illusion of control, to the belief that as long as you're still clicking, you still have a chance. But the truth is harsh. Every time you break your max loss, you are not chasing opportunity. You are chasing escape. And the consequences are always the same. You know them. You've lived them. The frustration, the disgust, the heavy silence in the room after closing the platform, the deep, nauseating realization that you didn't just lose money today, you damaged something inside your mind. Because when you break your max loss, the financial loss is small. The psychological loss is massive. You teach your brain that your rules don't matter. You teach your discipline that it is optional. You teach your future self that your boundaries can be ignored. You weaken the very muscle that separates gamblers from professionals, the muscle of restraint. And here's the tragedy. One day of breaking your max loss can erase a month of careful progress, not because of the money lost, but because of the identity lost. You stop seeing yourself as a disciplined trader. You start seeing yourself as someone who cannot be trusted. And once trust in yourself is destroyed, trading becomes a battlefield you cannot win. But here's the truth you might not want to hear. Daily max loss is not a punishment. Daily max loss is not a restriction. Daily max loss is not a limit placed on your potential. Daily max loss is self-respect. It is the moment where your future self speaks to your present self and says, I know you're emotional. I know you're stressed. I know you're trying to fix things, but stop. Please, for the sake of our future, stop. Daily max loss is not a cage. It is the seatbelt that keeps you alive. No one complains about the seatbelt until the moment it saves their life. The same is true here. A trader who respects their max loss lives to fight the next day. A trader who breaks it dies slowly, because trading is not a game of brilliance. It is a game of survival. You do not need to win every day. You do not need to win every week. You only need to stay in the game long enough for the statistical edge of your system to play out. Daily max loss is the mechanism that allows this. It cuts the spiral. It stops the implosion. It ends the chaos before the chaos ends you. Let me give you an image. Imagine standing on the edge of a high cliff. There's a railing beside you, a simple metal barrier, only waist high. It doesn't block your view. It doesn't limit your movement. It doesn't restrict your freedom. All it does is prevent you from stepping into the abyss during a moment of distraction, emotion, or panic. The railing is not your enemy. The railing is the reason you're still alive. Your daily max loss is that railing. It doesn't keep you from the summit. It keeps you from the fall. But traders who break their max loss are traders who climb a cliff and choose to ignore the railing. They step beyond it. They lean over the edge. They test gravity as if gravity will make an exception for them. But gravity never makes exceptions. Neither does the market. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about what really happens inside your mind when you hit your daily max loss. There are 3 psychological states triggered at that moment. The first is emotional dissonance, a conflict between the trader you want to be and the trader you currently are. You know you should stop. You know the limit exists for a reason. But the emotional discomfort pushes you to ignore logic. The second is identity threat. Ending the day red forces you to confront a narrative, I failed today. Your ego fights this narrative even though a small loss is part of the process. And the third is urgency distortion. Your brain tricks you into believing that the next trade is urgent, necessary, critical, as if the market only exists today, as if opportunity disappears forever after the next candle, as if salvation is one click away. But urgency is a lie, a trick, a cognitive distortion fueled by fear. If you were calm, you would see the truth clearly. No setup is urgent. No trade is required. No opportunity is worth destroying your discipline for. Daily max loss exists to protect you during the moments when your perception is most distorted. It is your future self trying to save your present self from making decisions that will destroy both of you. So how do you become the trader who respects their max loss? How do you transform this rule from a number into a habit, into a part of your identity? You start with a simple principle. A rule you don't respect is a rule that doesn't belong to you. Many traders copy risk parameters from others. They set limits based on social media posts, funding program requirements, or arbitrary numbers that sound professional. But unless the number reflects your real psychology, you will break it. Daily max loss must be meaningful. It must be a number that hurts but doesn't destroy. A number that triggers awareness but not panic. Once you choose the right number, you must attach meaning to it. You must turn it into a promise, not to the market, not to the strategy, not to a funding firm, but to yourself. You must connect the rule to a vision of the trader you want to become. Because discipline does not come from willpower. It comes from identity. You don't respect the max loss because you force yourself to. You respect it because disciplined traders respect their limits. And you see yourself as a disciplined trader. Identity creates behavior, not the other way around. You must also learn to ritualize the pause. When you hit max loss, don't slam your desk, don't curse the market, don't rush into the next chart. Pause, breathe, step away. Let the mind settle. Let the emotional noise dissolve. Ending your trading day at max loss is not defeat. It is the conscious choice to protect your long-term future over your short-term emotions. And at the end of every trading day, whether green or red, sit with yourself for a moment. Reflect, review, rebuild. This is how professionals grow. Not by winning every day, but by learning every day. Now let me tell you something that will reshape the way you think. You believe winning makes you stronger, but that's not true. What truly makes you stronger is the discipline to stop losing when you know you are no longer in the right state to win. Great traders are not defined by their best days. They are defined by how small they keep their worst days. Your daily max loss is the boundary that keeps your worst days small. Respect it, and you will survive long enough to experience the compounding effect of discipline. Break it, and you will sabotage your future over and over again until you no longer have a future to protect. Let me speak to the part of you that is tired, the part that is frustrated, the part that keeps promising to do better and then breaks again. You are not broken. You are untrained. Discipline is a skill, not a personality trait, not something you are born with, not something you either have or don't have. It is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through repetition. Every time you respect your max loss, you strengthen that muscle. You train your mind to pause. You teach your brain to value logic over emotion. You reinforce the identity of a professional, and every time you break it, you weaken that muscle. You teach your brain that your rules are flexible. You reinforce the identity of a gambler. The choice is made not on the chart, but in the mirror. So here is the ultimate truth, the truth most traders never accept. Trading is not about predicting the market. It is about managing yourself. The market will always be chaotic, unpredictable, irrational, emotional. You cannot control the market. You can only control your behavior within it. Daily max loss is your anchor in the storm. When emotions rise, it keeps you grounded. When uncertainty grows, it keeps you stable. When the world feels out of control, it reminds you that control begins within you. Professional traders do not survive because they are smarter. They survive because they honor their limits. And because they honor their limits, protect them. Respect your max loss, and it will protect your account. Respect your max loss, and it will protect your future. Respect your max loss, and it will protect your identity as a disciplined trader. There will be days when stopping early hurts. There will be days when ending red feels humiliating. There will be days when your emotions beg you to break your own rule. But on those days, remember, this stopping is not weakness. Stopping is maturity. Stopping is strength. Stopping is what separates those who gamble from those who grow. The market will still be here tomorrow. Your account will still be here tomorrow. You will still be here tomorrow. If you stop today. So I leave you with this, a final message for your journey. A trader who respects their daily max loss is a trader who respects their future. A trader who protects their worst days gives their best days room to flourish. And a trader who can walk away when their emotions want to stay is a trader who has mastered the hardest skill in the game, not analysis, not strategy, not timing, self-control. Respect your max loss, and the market will begin to respect you. If you need more reminders like this, you know what to do. Thank you for spending this time with Mind Over Markets. If your journey as a trader is teaching you one thing, let it be this: your greatest edge will never be a strategy, but the mindset you bring to the market. Every decision you make, every limit you honor, every moment you choose, discipline over emotion, these are the real trades that shape your future. The market will test you. It will provoke you. It will tempt you to break your own rules. But if you can master yourself, you can master any chart. If this message spoke to you, carry it into your next trading session. Let it guide you when the candles turn against you. Let it protect you when your impulses begin to rise. And let it remind you that every disciplined choice is a step toward the trader you're becoming. If you want more reflections like this, more lessons for the mind behind the markets, you already know what to do. Until next time, trade with clarity, trade with patience, trade with respect for your limits, and remember your greatest battles are fought within.